I'm Jeremy Harder, one of the hosts for North by Northeast, and today I'm here at the City and County Animal Shelter in Gillette, Wyoming, and I'm here with Aaron Lyle, the Animal Control Supervisor for the City of Gillette, and we're here to talk about the animal shelter and some of the great services you have here. Also, the first week of November is National Animal Control Appreciation Week. So that's kind of also why we're here, but you guys are all obviously great year-round.
Oh, thank you.
But like I said, it is a city and county control facility. Talk about how that works.
Yeah, so we are the only animal shelter in Campbell County. They do have a small holding facility in the town of Wright, but we're kind of the only shelter in the area. So we are contracted with the Campbell County Sheriff's Department and the town of Wright. And then the City of Gillette is actually who runs the animal shelter here. So we handle animals throughout the area, including Crook County as well. So there's not an animal shelter actually in Crook County.
Oh, okay.
So we help them out quite a bit too with some of their animals.
Awesome. So I guess as far as the staffing goes and stuff, talk about how that works. I know there's some officers obviously that go out a lot and stuff. So.
Yeah, so we have 3 animal shelter assistants that just work here in the shelter.
Okay.
And so their primary duties are caring for the animals, customer service, that type of stuff. And then we also have 3 animal control officers. They also help out in the shelter because there's a lot of animals to take care of 24/7. And so they also cover calls for service. So they work for the police department, and anytime somebody has a problem with an animal, they go out and help that animal or help those people. And then there's 2 animal control officers for the Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
And so they bring all their animals here, but they handle all those calls of service outside of the city limits. And then the town of Wright also has a code enforcement officer that handles some of the things right there inside Wright.
Okay, great. So obviously encompassing a large amount of space, really, and everything. You guys, though, do offer a lot of services here at the shelter. What are some of those services?
Well, so our primary service is trying to return animals to their owners. So when animals get lost or picked up running loose, something like that, we hold them here until we can get them back to the owner. And then we also do adoptions. So there are times when someone has to rehome their pet, and we help them through that process. Or if we pick up an animal as a stray and no one claims it, we'll go ahead and adopt that animal out. So those are kind of the primary functions at the animal shelter here. And then the animal shelter also holds, so when animal control officers or investigators have cases involving animals, maybe cruelty cases, things like that, we house those animals here at the shelter, keep them safe while those cases are processed.
How does the adoption process kind of work?
Well, I'll tell you, that process starts as soon as the animal enters the facility.
Okay.
So regardless if that animal was surrendered by the owner or picked up as a stray, we start assessing them as soon as they come in. We assess their behavior, their personality, their health, things like that starts on day 1.
Okay.
And then after a holding period, then we start the process of getting them up to date on vaccinations, getting them wormed, getting them spay and neutered. We do some more work with checking the behavior of the animal. We don't necessarily have a pass-fail system here. We don't really believe in that, but we try to get an idea of the animal's personality so that when we're looking at placing them in a home, we can say, okay, this is a really outgoing cat that loves people, or this is a really shy kitten, the difference in that. And so that starts day 1 when they come in.
So once you've kind of decided that, they've gotten all their being fixed and spayed and all that, and their behavior is good, and nobody's come in and claimed them, and they're ready for adoption, how does somebody adopt a pet?
So all of our adoptable pets we put on a website called petfinder.com. And so we get pictures of the pet and a little bio kind of telling you a little bit about them. Does it like other animals? Does it like kids? That's a big question.
That's a big one. Yep.
And so we put all that on Pet Finder so people can kind of browse through that and see if there's anything that they're interested in. And then they can come in and we can show them that pet.
Okay.
Or they can call up and ask more questions about the animal, and we can kind of let them know about that.
Okay.
And when they come in, If they've got other pets, we can facilitate kind of a meet and greet
Oh, okay.
to see how they do. Allow that to happen so you can really be sure that you get to know the pet before you take it home, which is really important.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big step to bring home a new family member.
So obviously cats and dogs, but what other pets do you typically see, and what other pets can be adopted from the facility?
So we see about everything.
Yeah.
Since we're the only shelter in Campbell County, we see everything. The only animals that we're not really equipped to hold long-term are like your big livestock. So cattle, horses, those types of things, we get a hold of the livestock investigators or brand inspectors, and they help us with those large. But really anything other than that, goat, sheep, pigs, reptiles, birds, all of those things we do house.
Okay.
Now certainly some of those we don't house long-term. So domestic birds, for example, are really easily stressed out by noise and changes. So when we get animals like that in, we try to get them into a safe environment pretty quickly.
Okay.
The animals that we keep here for the most part are dogs and cats. We do keep like pocket pets, hamsters, guinea pigs, a lot of rabbits.
Rabbits, I was just saying, I know you have a lot of rabbits
things like
come
that. And we adopt all of those animals out. So if someone, you know, like I said, surrenders them to us, or there have been times when they're picked up running loose, we actually see a lot of ferrets that way.
Oh, okay.
I think ferrets are kind of notorious escape artists, sometimes very curious.
Interesting.
And so we do see a lot of those.
How can someone help out the shelter?
Yeah, well, you said it, volunteering is still great. And even though we have had some changes, and I know we'll talk about that in a bit, we still take volunteers.
Okay.
We still love it when people will come in and walk the dogs. We'll come in and sit with the cats, grooming, brushing, interacting, taking them outside to play, and then also helping with some of the cleaning things. You know, dishes and laundry are never ending here at the shelter. And so it's great to have volunteers that come in and will help with some of those things and then enrich the lives of the animals. So we still have that program going.
Okay, good.
We do a volunteer training class on the first and third Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
At 4 o'clock here at the shelter. So if anybody's interested, we can get you trained, get you working with animals. It's really a great program.
What's the age limit on that?
12 years and older.
Okay.
So anybody 12 years and up. If you do want to be a dog walker, though, you do have to be 18 or over.
Okay.
In order to take the animals out of the facility and walk them. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So since we did kind of touch on it, what are some of the current restrictions that, because I know one of them is people used to be able to just kind of show up and walk through the facility and take a look at the adoptable pets. Talk a little bit about how that's set up right now.
Yeah. So we did have to make some changes. Certainly, when the shelter was shut down for a little bit, it was appointment only for a while. And during that time, we really noticed that the health of our animals was really good. They didn't have the stress. We didn't have the stomach issues. They were eating regularly. There wasn't the barking at the kennel doors that some dogs will do, the stressful spinning, those types of things. And so we kind of looked at what was going on, and the change was people walking by the kennels, you know, people that come into the shelter have the best of intentions.
Yes.
But it sometimes can be a little bit stressful for the animals because they're kind of in a heightened state of alert on, oh, who's going to walk by my kennel?
Yeah.
Oh, who's going to be coming in? People talking to them, people maybe poking at them. Again, they're not trying to harm anything, but that can be, and it keeps the animals in kind of a heightened state of stress.
Yeah.
And so what we found was when it was quiet back there for longer periods of time, fewer people, just the volunteers going back and doing walks and things like that, the animals seem much more healthy and relaxed. And that's actually been a trend across shelters across the nation. I've talked to several other shelter directors who have said that's kind of been a result of having less people come through the shelter. And so we've kept doing that. We are open for people to come in to adopt, but what we do is we bring the pet to you. So we can go outside in the lawn and you can interact with the dog. You can sit with a cat, you know, one-on-one and just really get to know them. And the adoption counselors are there to talk to the people and say, this is what we've observed, this is the personality, you know, showing people the tricks that they've learned. It's really been a really great change for us.
Okay, well, Erin, is there anything else you'd like to say other than, you know, if you're able to adopt?
Yes, that. And then the other thing I really wanted to encourage for our community, you know, you talked about what can help the animal shelter a lot. The other thing that people can do is spaying and neutering your pets at home. That is key. You know, the shelter is full of animals. that sometimes are needing homes because there's just too many of them out there. And so if as a community, if we pull together and make sure that we spay and neuter all of our pets, that can really help the animal shelter. And so that really is number one that our community can do to help, is just to make sure to spay and neuter. And there's lots of options in our town now.
There's I was going to say, if you need references or,
give us a call. There's many,
direction.
many wonderful vets. There's a low-cost spay-neuter clinic here in town. Lots of options that we can help people out with.
If you would like more information on the City County Animal Shelter in Gillette, please visit their website or call them at 307-686-5249. If you are interested in adopting a pet and would like to know what pets are available at the shelter, visit petfinder.com to find your future family member.